Two titans of American industry are about to reshape the very backbone of commerce in this country. After 160 years of separate histories, Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern are on the verge of creating the largest railroad merger in history, an $85 billion deal that would forge America's first true coast-to-coast freight empire. But to understand why this moment matters, we need to journey back to where it all began. This is the story of two railroads that helped build America and how they're about to unite to define its future. Our story begins in 1862, in the midst of the Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln signed the Pacific Railway Act, authorizing the construction of the first transcontinental railroad. The Union Pacific was born from this vision, tasked with building westward from Omaha, Nebraska toward the Pacific coast. The construction was nothing short of heroic. Thousands of workers, many of them Irish immigrants and Civil War veterans, pushed through brutal winters, hostile territory, and seemingly impossible terrain. They were racing against time in the Central Pacific Railroad, which was building eastward from California. On May 10, 1869, the two lines met at Promontory Summit, Utah. The famous Golden Spike was driven, and America was finally connected from sea to shining sea. The Union Pacific had laid 1,087 miles of track, a feat of engineering that changed the continent forever. But this was just the beginning. As America industrialized, Union Pacific grew with it. The railroad became the lifeline for Western agriculture, mining, and manufacturing. During both World Wars, UP was crucial to the war effort, moving troops and supplies across the vast American interior. Today's Union Pacific is a $58 billion giant, operating 32,200 miles of track across 23 states. They move everything from California produce to Wyoming coal, from Texas oil to Midwest grain. They're the backbone of American logistics, handling intermodal containers that arrive at Los Angeles and Long Beach ports and distributing them across the western United States. 3,000 miles away, Norfolk Southern's story begins differently but with equal ambition. The company traces its roots to 1838 with the City Point Railroad in Virginia. Just 13 years after the world's first passenger railway opened in England. But Norfolk Southern, as we know it today, was really forged in 1982 through one of the most significant railroad mergers of the modern era. The Norfolk and Western Railway, itself a product of numerous smaller lines dating back to the 1800s, merged with the Southern Railway system to create Norfolk Southern Corporation. The Norfolk and Western had become synonymous with coal transportation, moving black diamonds from the rich Appalachian mines to ports and power plants. Meanwhile, the Southern Railway had built a network that connected the industrial Southeast with markets across the nation. This merger created something powerful, a railroad perfectly positioned to serve the New South. As manufacturing moved from the Rust Belt to states like Georgia, Alabama, and the Carolinas, Norfolk Southern was there to serve automotive plants, chemical facilities, and growing ports along the Atlantic coast. Today, Norfolk Southern operates 19,300 miles of track across 22 states and Washington, D.C. They're particularly strong in the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic, serving major ports like Norfolk, Savannah, and Charleston. They move automotive parts from Southern plants, chemicals from Louisiana and Texas, and intermodal traffic from East Coast ports. But here's what makes this story fascinating. While these two railroads grew up in different centuries in different regions, they've been on a collision course toward this moment for decades. To understand why Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern are talking merger today, we need to understand how the railroad industry has transformed. In 1980, there were dozens of major railroads. Today, the industry is dominated by just 7 Class I carriers. The consolidation wave began in earnest in the 1990s. 1995, Burlington Northern merged with Santa Fe to create BNSF. 1996, Union Pacific acquired Southern Pacific. 1997, CSX and Norfolk Southern jointly acquired Conrail. 1999, Canadian National acquired Illinois Central. This consolidation was driven by economics. Railroads needed scale to compete with trucking and to invest in new technology. The industry adopted precision scheduled railroading, running longer, heavier trains on more predictable schedules with fewer crews and assets. But the real driver of today's merger talks is the changing nature of American commerce. E-commerce has exploded, creating demand for faster, more reliable intermodal service. Asian imports continue to grow, requiring efficient connections between West Coast ports and Eastern markets. The pandemic accelerated these trends. Supply chain disruptions showed shippers the value of having multiple transportation options and reliable service. Railroads that could offer seamless coast-to-coast service would have a significant competitive advantage. Today's railroad map shows the strategic challenge both companies face. Union Pacific dominates the West, but has limited eastern reach. Norfolk Southern controls the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic, but can't efficiently reach Western markets. Meanwhile, their main competitor, BNSF Railway, owned by Berkshire Hathaway, has been steadily gaining market share with superior service. The current merger discussions didn't happen overnight. Industry analysts have speculated about consolidation for years, but several factors align to make 2025 the right moment. Union Pacific, the largest U.S. railroad operator, confirmed on July 24th that it is in advanced talks with rival Norfolk Southern, signaling that a deal to form a $200 billion coast-to-coast rail company could be close. The strategic logic is compelling. A merged Union Pacific-Norfolk Southern would create the first truly transcontinental railroad since the industry's consolidation began. The combined network would stretch from Los Angeles to Norfolk, from Seattle to Miami, serving every major port and industrial center in the country. According to recent reports, Union Pacific could reach an agreement to acquire Norfolk Southern and create a transcontinental rail behemoth as soon as early next week. The deal is expected to be worth approximately $85 billion, making it the largest railroad merger in history. But this isn't just about corporate strategy, it's about reshaping American commerce. The Surface Transportation Board would need to approve any merger, and they'll scrutinize the competitive impacts carefully. The last major railroad merger, Union Pacific's acquisition of Southern Pacific in 1996, created significant service disruptions that took years to resolve. Shippers are watching nervously. Some see the potential for improved single-line service from coast to coast. Others worry about reduced competition and higher rates. The trucking industry, which competes with railroads for freight, is concerned about a stronger rail competitor. If approved, this merger would create more than just the largest railroad in North America. It would fundamentally alter how goods move across the continent. The environmental implications could be significant. Railroads are roughly 4 times more fuel efficient than trucks. A stronger, more efficient rail network could shift more freight from highways to railways, reducing emissions and highway congestion. The merged company would also have the scale to invest in next-generation technology, autonomous trains, artificial intelligence for route optimization, and advanced sensors for predictive maintenance. These investments could make railroads even more competitive with trucking. But the human costs can't be ignored. Merger synergies typically mean job cuts, and railroad employment has already declined dramatically due to automation and efficiency improvements. Communities that depend on railroad employment are watching these talks with concern. The deal would also likely trigger additional consolidation. BNSF and CSX, the other major Western and Eastern carriers, would face pressure to respond, possibly through their own mergers or strategic partnerships. From the golden spike of 1869 to the boardrooms of 2025, American railroads have always been about connecting a vast continent and enabling commerce on an unprecedented scale. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern represent 160 years of railroad history, innovation, and American industrial might. Whether this merger succeeds will depend on regulators, shareholders, and ultimately, whether the combined company can deliver on its promise of better, more efficient service. But one thing is certain. We're witnessing a pivotal moment in American transportation history. The rails that helped build America are about to be redrawn once again. What do you think? Will this mega merger benefit consumers and the economy, or will it concentrate too much power in the hands of too few companies? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the industries that shape our world.